Now, I'm going to explain what's happening with GameStop really quick, and then we'll get into it. And just to bring everyone here, which I like to do with this podcast, right? Because a lot of people do not know what a short squeeze is. So a short squeeze is when, someone's short. It's just, so if you buy a stock, at 10 and you sell it at 20, right? You have to sell it at 20 or 30, 40. You have to sell it eventually. And that's how you book your profit or loss. If you put $10,000 into the stock and you buy it at 10, your risk is $10,000. If it goes to zero, that's how much you lose. When you go short, and I'm talking about if you go short a stock, your losses are infinite because you're shorting the stock at 10 and then go to 20, 50, 100, or 300. What'd you say it was, Daniel? 300 what?
It was 355.
355. That's amazing. It was 240 this morning, I think, when we walked in. So, so in the short sells, what happens is just like when you buy it, in order to lock in the gain, you have to sell it or loss. You have to sell it. With short sellers, they just take that step first. They sell it first and they need to buy it back. Now, when this stock gets out of control and goes higher and higher and higher and higher, it forces the short sellers to immediately buy the stock at whatever price. So it'll go to 20, 30, 40, 50, and they keep buying it because they need to get out of their position, because if it goes to 200, 300, 400, they're wrecked, which is what happened with GameStop. We see short squeezes all the time. However, we've never seen anything like this coordinated. And Daniel, I guess we'll start with you, and hopefully I explain that well, because a lot of people, again, I'm getting questions. A short squeeze, just to bring everyone on the same page of what's going on. But yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's beyond crazy. And it's morphed into basically the mindset of divisiveness. So it's the little guy versus big greedy hedge funds. Do you want to talk about WallStreetBets? Because it's all over CNBC and everything. Reuters.
Go ahead, go right. That's the Reddit crowd that started this blog, I think, a couple months ago, I think in April, and really started attacking specifically this company and Melvin Capital, right?
And so, I honestly don't know what started all this off, on the sense of, because WallStreetBets has been around since I don't know when. I've heard about them several times, and I've checked their message board a few times here and there, but nothing regularly. So I'm not exactly sure what got them so upset or targeted. And if that's the case, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know all the details here. I don't know. There was 2 million users on the WallStreetBets Reddit feed. I'm sure that's grown, to a silly number in just the last few months. But yeah, you have, it's kind of a neat thing, because you have high frequency traders and hedge funds that are blamed for a lot of market manipulation by the little guy and in general. And then you have things like Robinhood come along that disrupt markets, basically get everybody down to free trading, easy access to it. And then when that kind of turns on you and people get the idea of trying to squeeze you out of a position, you can push stocks high enough. And hey, this goes well, though, because fundamentals don't matter. And this is the perfect example. The funny thing is, there's so many different angles we can talk about this that I'm interested by. And one of them is the fact that people are literally just pointing out the fact that they're trying to hurt somebody else to buy this. So, it's a free stock market. You can do whatever you want. It doesn't have to make sense, but that's an interesting thing going on right now.
We're going to go a lot of different places with this, because it's very important, because there's something much bigger taking place than just a simple short squeeze. But, let's, even when we get to the details. So Melvin Capital is a $12.5 billion firm. They were short GameStop for a while. Now, when you disclose, for funds who have over $100 million in assets, they need to disclose all their positions on the long side. So you don't have to disclose your shorts, right? And that's every quarter they do that. It's called 13F, right? It's filing with the SEC, and you get to see who Warren Buffett owns and what they bought, what they're selling out of, and all this stuff. It's pretty cool. I've covered that a lot in this podcast. But when it comes to options, especially put options, money manager with over 100 million capital, they must disclose that. So Melvin disclosed that it had 5.4 million puts on GameStop last quarter, right? And it was worth $55 million at the time. I'm sure it's worth zero now. Whatever it is, forget it. But but it's a position they increased by nearly 60%. So now you're talking about, Dan, the Reddit crowd. It's they all got together, right? WallStreetBets, it's called, and all of a sudden they have over 2 million subscribers, and it started with one group saying, "Hey, Melvin Capital is short this stock. Let's try to, get a short squeeze here." And I actually went on that account, and I'm going to read you some of these things because now it's probably has 3 million users, but I screenshot a couple of these things and just a couple of it's freaking off. So like I said, it took 9 years for for this blog to reach 2 million subscribers, there's 500,000 that joined the last 3 days. I did this yesterday. It's probably another million people I joined. You have GME ripping. I'm in tears already. Life-changing money is turning into destiny. Just life-changing money. 10,000 into 750,000. And this person says he's still holding. When I did this, the stock closed yesterday. Where did it close yesterday?
Well, it's up $286.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's at 363.
Yeah. So I think it closed, wherever it closed yesterday, 140 something. And he's still holding today. He's probably a happy guy.
Yeah.
A little bit, right? So you got to think that 750 is now a few $1 million. Melvin is down another 25% on G. So they're targeting, right, Melvin Capital. And again, it's a $12.5 billion firm. Best hold I have ever effing seen. FLMAO. For those of you older, laughing my ass out, ass off. Someone is actively driving attention to non-GME posts on Reddit. Don't be fooled. Like, all these guys are really together, though. But it's yesterday I posted a $2.5 million loss on GameStop, but today I'm posting a $7.8 million gain.
Jeez.
These guys that posting on Reddit. Just some of these things are just absolutely amazing. I mean, the hedge funds are bad, and they're going to be fighting dirty. Ladies and gentlemen, the man behind MarketWatch is calling you conspirators of crime. Someone call Papa Elon. We got to take a rocket to the moon before the SEC comes knocking. I mean, it is really entertaining. We did it. Buy the rip. Continue to buy the rip. We made it, boys. Keep going. It's incredible. I mean, if you really read the blog, it's incredible. So they're all together, and now Melvin Capital lost 30% of its value, got crushed, and they required a bailout to stay afloat. And yeah, two major guys who have ties to Melvin, Steve Cohen of Citadel and then Point72 Asset Management, they injected $2.7 billion into the fund. That was yesterday morning. And now, what's the percentage again? How much is it higher, Daniel?
It's actually 373 now, so it's almost 296. It's up 385% today.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And so the thing is that I'm going to try to, because if you watch CNBC, you guys know the story. I'm going to dig in really deep a couple topics with Daniel here, but Melvin Capital, it was like a coordinated effort to really, and this is a large Wall Street firm, $12.5 billion, that these, I would say, I wouldn't even call them kids. They're all professional traders on there, but most of these kids are young who are able to leverage the hell out of everything. We're seeing outages at Ameritrade, E-Trade today, across like Robinhood, 5 or 6 platforms, because the volume is insane. I'm not just talking games, just across the platforms. A lot of them aren't working right now as I speak. But Melvin was also short other names at National Beverage, iRobot, and Bed Bath & Beyond, which are all up tremendously. And again, Melvin has to cover their losses, right? Or they lose everything in the fund. So when they're covering, they need to buy back all these positions, and they're buying them back. And when you're buying them, they're buying them high, and the stock's going higher, because it's, because they have to continue to buy to cover their shorts. So, probably one of the biggest short squeezes ever.